Good morning, everybody. It's quarter after 9 here at Sky Harbor. Got about a half hour before one of my clients comes in and picks them up. See if we can do a quick video here. One of the questions I had on my last video about or the Florida video saying, "Hey, Hum is in Florida." What is Hum actually? Hum is actually you buy a subscription. Okay, just like anything else here nowadays. It's a subscription mainly, and to be brutally honest, it's a subscription that gives you commercial insurance at a very, very low price. Okay, what you would pay if you did it on your own. And what this allows you to do is to make you able to have private clientele that you can do rides for, and you can use Uber and Lyft as an interview process. Okay, I think I've said that already, but hey, just how I do it is, hey, I take rides. I target airport rides mainly for picking up new clients. I take them to the airport. On the way there with Uber and Lyft, I'm asking them, hey, where you headed? I'm asking, if it's business or pleasure that they're going for. And why do I ask that question? Is because if it's business, then that usually means, hey, they might do this a lot. So that's somebody I want to maybe target. If it's pleasure, this could be that once a year trip that they take to the airport. Now, do I still want to try and have them as a client? Possibly. Okay, I will probably give them my card either way, but I would want more of the business person over the person that's just going on vacation. Because like I said, it could be, hey, they take a vacation every 2 years, where they travel. They may take vacations, but they may stay local. And then this is their big, hey, we're getting out of, leaving the state, leaving the city, wherever. We're going somewhere new. We're going to Disneyland. We're going to Nashville. We're going to see, take a vacation to Seattle. Maybe they're going to Florida to go on a cruise. Who knows? This may be that once in 2 years that they go to the airport. So you kind of want to figure things out. But with that in mind, also remember that I'm also looking, hey, do you guys like, I would then ask if this was for pleasure, hey, do you use ride, then my next question for that is, do you use rideshare a lot? Because that's also something that I want. Once again, if this is your once a year thing and you only do it once a year, I probably don't want to have you as a client. I will pass on the Hum information to you. Okay, hey, try this app out instead of Uber and Lyft. And that way, hey, maybe should they decide to do something else, they'll use Hum. Okay, so the other thing I look for is if they use rideshare a lot and it's not for business, what do they use it for? Do they use it to go to and from work? Do they use it to, because they don't have a car, so they use it regardless. Okay, just think about things like that. All right. So, and that's what I want. Okay. Ease of the pickup. Most people I tend to target are not far from a highway. Okay. Unless they're in Scottsdale, then hey, I kind of let that one slide, because a lot of times I don't want to be on the 101, just depending on the time of day. So there I use Hayden and Scottsdale Road to maneuver around traffic. But anyway, so the reason I want them near a highway is because, hey, I want to keep my gas mileage high, miles per gallon high versus low. Okay, and why do I say that? Because that way, working on my bottom line, especially with the way things are now in the world, not really sure what gas is really what oil is going to do, how things are going to pan out. So I want more miles per gallon Now, granted, this is what an EV is good for. This is what a hybrid's good for. All right. Unfortunately, I don't have either one, but I do have a good miles per gallon vehicle. I get 35 to 40 miles a gallon on the highway, and when I'm using, and I can see, which is why I like to, when I'm in Scottsdale even, I try to time the lights so that I can catch a majority of them to keep my gas mileage up in the low 30s. Okay, so I want that. Now, another thing is when am I driving? Okay, am I driving to avoid rush hour traffic? Yes. I get up early enough so that it's not that bad as I'm coming west towards the airport. So that way, once again, keeps my miles per gallon up. All right, so next thing that I look for when I'm doing a private client, the ease of the pickup. Like I said, my thing is, hey, maybe less than a mile off a highway. If I have to turn left or right, maybe less than a mile either way or there. And then if I have to turn again, less than a couple blocks. Okay, if it's a bunch of zigzagging in and out of a community, I don't like those, because once again, stop and go eats away at your gas mileage. All right, so that's why. All right, so we've got, do they use rideshare a lot? Oh no, business or pleasure? Do they use rideshare a lot? Ease of the pickup. Now, probably the other thing I want is a positive attitude, okay? And with positive attitude is just, hey, I try to be as positive as I can, being upbeat, kind of listening in on conversations, and maybe adding if it sounds like they have a question about something, maybe answering a question for them and stuff like that. So I want them to be able to be positive about things. I don't want complainers. Now, here's another thing too about ease of pickup that I forgot to add. How long do they take once you arrive to get in the vehicle? Okay, a lot of people are ready right as I'm pulling up. Other people, I'm having to wait 5-10 minutes. Well, at least 5. I'm not going to say 10. The only way I'm waiting 10 is if I've got a $25 surge on this ride, and it's a $25 ride, so it's a $50 ride, and it's only maybe 15 miles. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait a little bit for them before I cancel. All right, but hey, how often does that happen? Probably 0.1% of the time that happens. So really not worried about that. Now, what else do we have going on here? We have, I said, positive attitude, and then last but not least, good hygiene. And by that I mean they don't smell, obviously. They don't smell of cigarettes or pot. And hey, I don't judge either way, but I just don't want it in my vehicle. Okay? And I'll be honest with you. People that smoke, they don't smell themselves. The rest of us do. And I mean, I grew up around a dad that smoked 2 to 3 packs a day. Okay, so I never really, with that, the smoke was always there. And smoking inside a house was always there. My dad always had an ashtray close, so it was always there. So I never really, when I started noticing that I could smell somebody that smoked, was when most of the country, I was living in California at the time, quit smoking indoors. You couldn't smoke indoors anymore. And man, once that happened, I was working in a bar too. My clothes didn't stink as much when I came home. And to be honest with you, because hey, when I had roommates, not non-smokers were all I wanted. I didn't want anybody that smoked, whether it be pot or whatever. I didn't always live with Navy roommates either. So, so I really now, to be honest with you, I can't stand the smell of marijuana. I really can't. And what I don't want is people that smell like they smoke 5 packs a day. I don't want people that smell like they just came out of Cheech and Chong's car. All right. I want a clean smelling individual, because that's what I'm doing, of being a clean smelling individual. All right. Before I go on every ride, take a shower. Start of every day, I take a shower. I go home. If I do some work around the house or whatever, and build up a sweat or whatever, I take another shower before I do another ride. So that's just it. And then the last thing is I always trust my gut. All right. Sometimes you get mixed emotions on the positive attitude. You started out friendly, but by the time we got done with the end of the ride, you're kind of eh. Or maybe you start out and by the end of the ride, hey, this person's all right. Trust your gut. All right. So that's that. That's what I consider hum. Okay. On demands, if they download the Hum app, Rider app, you'll get on-demand rides. But for the most part, and you can ask any person here in Phoenix that's been with Hum since the beginning, with me almost 2 years ago, probably 95% of my clients, and I've got over 180, almost 200, but they don't even know the Hum app exists. They just know Kevin uses Hum to make sure I can get to the airport on time and safely. That's all they know about. All right. So, just think about that. All right. Like I said, it's what Hum is it takes care of your commercial insurance at a huge savings to you if you were to do it privately. Okay. And like I said, this allows you to do private rides. All right. Once again, I don't know Florida airports. I do know I have seen in the past where they've done sting operations for people trying to hustle rides. That's the other thing too, is with Hum, don't show up at the airport trying to ask people if they want to ride. You can't do that. That's a taxi service. Only taxis can ask you, hey, do you want to ride? If they ask you, different story. Okay, but you can't ask them, no matter what state you're in, as far as where Hum operates. You can't ask people for a ride. All right. Just always remember, though, the only rules with Hum is you have to start the ride in an app and end the ride in an app, which is if the passenger is controlling it, where they did an on-demand ride, you're starting and ending an app, but they're the ones that are in control. They're the ones that are going to pay for it. If you're starting the ride because they texted you, and that's just it. That's how they get a hold of you. That's why you need business cards, okay? You need business cards so people know how to get a hold of you. Or some way to get your information to them so they can, in turn, contact you. I mean, that's just it, cut and dry in a nutshell. It all starts with a change of mindset that you've been used to, that you're kind of, and it's the same with the rider. The rider is not used to Hum here or using Hum. So we have to educate them that, hey, when you go to Florida, if I don't give you somebody, download the Hum app and request a ride, you'll probably get a decent ride, okay? So we want to do that. And that's why I always tell people, and everybody, you're going to hear all these things that, well, if they download the app, they can see see that my quote is more than what they would be paying if they did an on-demand ride. If your service backs up your quote, they don't care. Okay? My clients want to use me, period. Okay? And that's why they're willing to pay. First off, they know I'm giving them a fair market value of a ride I'm doing. I'm not trying to gouge them. I'm not trying to be Phoenix's next millionaire. All right? I'm just giving them a fair market value. I provide a quality service. I provide a safe transportation to and from point A to point B. All right? So I don't ever worry about them. If they want to download the Hum app, they can, and they can see. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times they don't even see what I've done because even when they have the Hum app, they don't have it on, so they don't worry about it. All right, so let's just call it a day, and I'll talk to you guys later.